So UFC 325 starring Alexander Volkanovski and Diego Lopez just took place in Sydney, Australia, and I'm going to go through every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelims and ending with the main event, starting with the first fight on the card, which is Lawrence Lee and Solarang Lebro. Now, I had Sol winning the first and the third, honestly, but looking back at it with the total strike amounts and the takedowns, it's pretty evident the fact that Louis was going to win that. Now, with it being a split decision, it is interesting. It could have gone either way, but with it going Louis' way, I don't think it was a robbery in any way. Sol had really good, tight boxing, knocked down Louis a couple of times with a couple of short hooks in the clinch and up close. But after that, Louis started getting into the fight, started putting in takedowns, and then from there it was kind of just a drag him out fight. So I'm happy to see that Louis got a contract, and I don't think he'll do big things in the bantamweight division, but it's good to at least see him in there. Next up, we got Nakamura and Zalei. Now, I had Zalei up 2-0, even though I picked Nakamura second round KO, third round, but even still got it by KO. All of it was a little weird of a KO because it was almost all of a sudden Nakamura just turned on a switch, and then from there it was one-way traffic. Down 2-0, and then all of a sudden, like that, took a front foot, never took a back step, and then it was just one-way traffic from there. Once again, it's good to see Nakamura's getting a contract from that. He might also be getting a knockout bonus from that, so he might be getting $50K from all of this. We never know, but either way, still happy for them. Next up, we got Don Mar Pham versus Sungwook Kim. I had Don Mar Pham, and lo and behold, I was right. It was by unanimous decision. Obviously, you can see by the total strikes, it was Don Mar Pham all the way. Round one, double the strikes, and then this is the only one where it's kind of competitive, but it's pretty meh, you know what I'm saying? Once again, do I think Don Marfam's going to do much in the lightweight division? Not right now. Maybe after a couple fights and after a couple retirements in the top 15. But for right now, I don't see anything like that happening. So either way, so far I think I'm 2-1, 2-1, 3-0. Good start. Next up, we got Khan Alfie versus Yaisa. This one I got wrong, and this one is the one where I started dozing off. So I do apologize for all the rest of the fights. I'm just going to skip over those real quick. But he was having a really good first round. He was able to knock him down at least a couple of times. Or, yeah, just once. They only showed once, but it seemed like it was a couple of times. And every single time that Yaisa hit Alfie in the first round, it seemed like it impacted the fight a lot more. But then come the second and third round, I think it was the experience of Olfi that really just stood out and helped him win the decision. So, once again, do I think he's going to do a lot in the UFC? No. But, I mean, it's good to see Yaisa get, a full 3 rounds in the UFC, get a good competition, get good talent. Because, I mean, he's got a good record. He's still young, though, so he's got to learn. He's still got to learn. Now, this one I woke up as soon as the fight was over, so I don't really know what happened. But, I mean, it just seemed like a fraud check, if anything. Micallef has, less strikes in total. Probably was losing the fight in the first and second round. Probably. Definitely the second round. Up until then. Probably got the takedown from that and then was able to get the submission. But, I mean, it's good to see. It's good to see. Tall dude. I think he's like, what, 6'4", 6'5"? Says that captain. Doesn't even say. But yeah, no, that was a fun fight. And then here comes the snooze fest right after. Torres Finney versus Jacob Malkoun. God, cut Torres Finney, please. God, cut him. Like, I get it. He's a bodybuilder of a man in the middleweight division, but he has no striking game whatsoever. He has no dynamic game whatsoever. He clinches up against the fence and then throws a couple of hooks here and there. Wasn't a great fight in my opinion, and I don't think that this was just a great fight. Really. Like, it really wasn't. Except the Cody Brundage fight. Cody Brundage, I was awake for like probably half of it. But it was mostly just seeing, the striking differential of the two. He was throwing teeps the entire time, using his range. Every time he threw a stiff jab, Cody Brundage would take a step back. And it seemed as though he was stuck in the mud the entire time. Cody Brundage at this point is just getting fed the up-and-comers that are just going to beat him up. I don't see anything against that, you know what I'm saying? It's a good payday. He's getting paid a lot for it. Up next, the Junior Tafa versus Billy Elikana. Now, I will say this was the best I've seen Junior Tafa. But it still was not enough with Billy Elikana. Billy Elikana was able to use a lot of his youth and a lot of his athleticism to get into the clinch, to get, short hooks, short shots, take it to the ground how many times? He only got it down once. Yeah, it only needed one, because as soon as it went to the ground, it was almost over. Went into full mount, I believe, had a couple of arm triangles, and then just did not want to move. So, but this was when I started to wake up because of the next fight. Colin Sakil versus Jamie Malarkey. Now, I mean, odds obviously had it towards Southguild. Everybody picked Southguild. That's because we all knew how good Quillen Southguild really was. As soon as it hit the ground, next thing you know, he was able to lock up a submission. I really think he should get a top 15, get a really good opponent from there. I think Jamie Malarkey should get maybe somebody in the top 30. If not, get cut from the UFC, go to the PFL. Get some better competition for yourself, man. Up next, we got Tai Tuivasa versus Taoshin Teixeira. Once again, the best I've seen Tai Tuivasa in a while. But they were absolutely gassed at the end of the second round. I don't think I've ever seen heavyweights in the middle of the cage staring at each other with hands on their hips because of how exhausted they were. But either way, I mean, with how many strikes, Teixeira was landing throughout the entire fight, I do see it. Not with, Tuivasa, though. Only 56 strikes over 15 minutes. For you to gas out like that, that's kind of bad. But it really just shows how bad the heavyweight division is in the top 15. Give Taoshin Teixeira somebody in the top 10, maybe give him like another grappler, like a Jailton Almeida, maybe a Volkov if he gets another loss, a Sergey Pavlovich, somebody that's going to be shooting him up into the top 10, top 5. Up next, we got Rafael Fiziev versus Mauricio Javid. This was my fight of the night. I loved this one. I loved it. I loved it so much. It was like a pasta. It was nice, boiled to perfection. What was that? Yeah. But, so yeah, I had Rafael Fiziev, but I'm perfectly alright getting this one wrong. Because it was a banger of a fight. If he was able to use his distance management to be able to keep Fiziev away. I think Fiziev knocked him down. No. Mauricio Hoofy was able to knock Rafael Fiziev down in the second round with a straight right down the pipe, sitting down on it. And then from there, it was kind of just downhill. Clung to the cage a couple of times, started running around, trying to regain himself. Mauricio Hoofy on, on the front foot the entire time. I like it though. I like it. I think that Mauricio Hoofy should probably get Dan Hooker next. I feel like that's a good fight for him. Be a good striker's delight. And I think Alfio Fizio should get somebody in the top 15, maybe an up and comer, a young prospect. Be one of those guys. Up next, we got Dan Hooker and Benoit Saint Denis. I had, I think Dan Hooker winning this, or no, I had Benoit winning this one because I knew about the takedowns. And boy, howdy, did the takedowns mean a lot. Because as soon as Dan Hooker was not able to use his guillotine as his defense of a takedown, he had no way of getting back up. And then from there, it was just elbows, fists. I will say a bunch of those shots did seem to go to the back of the head, but I guess we don't count those in Sydney. But yeah, no, I mean, it's bad for Dan Hooker because every single fight that he's in, he's going to get bloody, he's getting cut, he's got a lot of scar tissue. But it's good for Benoit because Benoit is going to get somebody probably in the top 5, maybe top 3, depending. But I mean, it's good. It's good to see that. You know what I'm saying? He was able to really use his judo in that fight. I gotta be honest. Now for the main event, Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. The boy keeps the belt. You know what I'm saying? This one I was kind of dozing in and out of, but it was kind of just the same thing as the second fight. He was able to use his range. As soon as Diego Lopez started reacting and throwing just absolute hands, which some of them were landing, Volkanovski would just take half a step back, take a beat back, wait for a second, and then unload his barrage of punches, which would beat Diego's punches. So, I mean, once again, it's just another fact of, the old veteran getting it done, just knowing more about the game. I feel like Diego should get Yair Rodriguez for somebody that should just get a good name, get a bunch of hype in the division. It's going to probably sell here in April, May. And then with Volk should probably just look at getting Movsar Evloev or Lauren Murphy. Lauren Murphy deserves it. So, I mean, all in all, if I had to rank this card on it 1 out of 10, I'd say probably like a 7. Started off really good, and middle of the card was really poor, but there were a couple of canceled fights, including the first fight on the card, Aaron Tao versus I forgot who the other guy was because of missed weight, which I'll cover that later on in the week. But it ended off really well. The only thing is just it's all the ads. The ads on Paramount. It's just getting to me, man. It's too many of them. Like, you can't see fight walkouts. Like, you can't see in between rounds because it's just ads. Which I'm fine with because they're cheaper, but my word. So, either way, I will catch you guys next week for next week's card, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.